Hello and welcome to the TankSpot Blackwing Descent Raid Guide. My name is Alayana, and in this video I'll show you all you have to know about Atramedes, the blind dragon you'll encounter in the second tier of this new raid instance. We completed this fight with 1 tank, 6 healers, and 18 DPS, but similar raid configurations may work just as well. Atramedes is a very unique encounter. As mentioned, he's blind, so all abilities he does are centered around sound. When the fight starts, you will have a sound bar pop up in your UI. Getting hit with any of Atramedes' abilities will increase your sound level. When the bar is full, when you hit 100 sound, Atramedes will know where you are and kill you in about 2 seconds. The fight is split into 2 phases that'll keep repeating. As soon as you engage Atramedes, you'll start out with the ground phase, which always lasts 80 seconds. Let's go over the abilities that he'll use during the ground phase. The first ability you will see is Sonar Pulse. Atramedes will release 4 sound discs that start at a random point in the room and spread out from there. Touching a disc adds 7 sound to your bar and inflicts some damage. The discs move pretty slowly and aren't that hard to avoid. If you get unlucky and they spawn on you, move opposite of the direction they're moving into. You will stack up some sound, but it shouldn't bring your bar to 100. His second ability is Modulation. This will look like a gigantic sound disc reverberating through the room. Modulation cannot be avoided or dodged and will inflict 40,000 shadow damage to your entire raid on top of adding 7 sound to everyone's sound bar. He'll use this occasionally throughout the ground phase. His third ability is Sonic Breath. This is cast at the target that currently has the highest amount of sound. Atramedes will face his target, boss mods figure out correctly who it is, and this should be called out on vent too, and start a 2-second cast. At the end of the cast, he'll follow his target with flames, and anyone getting caught in the fire will take massive amounts of damage and stack up sound. The more sound Atramedes' breath target has, the faster the flames will follow him. Most often, a ranged raid member will have the highest amount of sound. To counter this, and to make healing easier for modulation, your ranged raid members and healers should be loosely stacked up. When Atramedes picks a target and starts casting his breath, his target should move to the right and kite the breath, whereas everyone else in the ranged pile should move to the left. If his breath target has a movement enhancing effect available, like Body and Soul, no one should get hit by the breath at all. The breath is channeled for 6 seconds, so everyone needs to make sure that they are out of its way when it's being kited. Atramedes' last Phase 1 ability is Searing Flame. He'll cast this once per ground phase, and it's his most devastating ability. For 8 seconds, he'll channel a fire AoE that inflicts about 20k damage to every raid member per second, and stacks up a fire damage debuff. It is crucial to the fight that you do not let Atramedes cast this. To interrupt Searing Flames, you can hit one of the 10 gongs that are aligned around his chamber. Hitting a gong will cause vertigo to Atramedes, which stuns him for 5 seconds and makes him take more damage within that time frame. On top of that, it will reset every raid member's sound bar back to 0. However, after he recovers from vertigo, he'll shatter the gong that was used, so you can only use each gong once. This serves as a softened rage timer. When you run out of gongs, you're probably screwed. After you survive 80 seconds of the ground phase, you'll trigger his air phase. This one only lasts 40 seconds. As soon as Atramedes hits the air, he'll once again target the player with the highest amount of sound, and this time he'll chase him down with flame breath from the air. Everyone should be moving when the air phase hits to increase the chances of getting away from his flame breath. The fire will move faster the higher the target's sound level is, and on top of that will speed up the longer Atramedes is chasing someone. You will eventually want to interrupt this by using a gong, which once more will cause vertigo to Atramedes. After vertigo is done, he'll shatter the gong and go on to chase the player that used it. You want someone with a huge movement speed increase to be the person to hit the gong during the air phase, like Rogue for instance. Obviously, any other movement speed enhancing buffs are a big help in this phase. The flames will leave patches on the ground that deal damage and increase sound when touched, so try not to kite them into the most idiotic direction you can think of. He'll also use Roaring Flames during the air phase, which adds more flame patches on the ground in random locations. Obviously, we'll do what every person with a brain does when they see fire on the ground. Touch the big, bright, shiny, mesmerizing don't stand in it, ever. His last air phase ability is Sonar Pulse, which looks like the discs from the ground phase, but these ones will spawn in the location of random raid members, and shortly after they appear, a little missile will hit the center of the disc. Getting hit by the missile will deal damage and add 7 sound, so it's important that every raid member stays moving during the air phase to avoid these. And the fire, and the arcane ball, and the fire breath. So yes, keep moving during the air phase and avoid getting hit by, well, anything. Once the 40 seconds are up, Atramedes will land again and phase 1 starts over. This cycle repeats until Atramedes' health pool is depleted. Make sure to only have reliable raid members hitting the gongs. Getting the interrupts right is the most crucial thing about this encounter. Other than that, this fight is all about dodging stuff and kiting fire. If executed correctly, Atramedes should die rather easily. The soften rage is very lenient, and unless half your raid is dead, you should not get close to it. I've attached footage of the whole fight to show in detail how we dealt with his various mechanics. Good luck and have fun. Now, as a little disclaimer, this is one of our first pulls on Atramedes. We killed him after about 6 or so. So most people, including myself, do not play to the best of their abilities here. On top of that, I had issues recording this, so I had to turn all the settings down to low, so everything looks a little funny. As you can see, the discs are barely visible, but anyway, we'll go with it. Now, that was his first disc and modulation, so breath is about to come up. As you can see, we're all running to the left here, while the person that gets a flame is kiting it to the right. Somehow we had the biggest issues getting people to comprehend that they should run to the right when they get it. But hey, eventually it clicked. Now more discs. You can easily avoid them. Sometimes they leave openings in between them. This time they didn't, so you kind of have to run around. Might be tough to see when they're coming straight for you, but usually it should be pretty easy to see an opening if there is one. They spread out over time, so openings open up, kind of. As you can see, there was an opening up right there, but it decided to run around. I cheated with body and soul, so I didn't get hit, but hey, whatever works. Another breath is coming here. Person is kiting it. We're all running to the left. Person is kiting it to the right. Another modulation. And the air phase should be about to come up. We interrupted Searing of Flames on the first tick. We have managed to interrupt it before it even goes off, but I'm not entirely sure how they did that. Anyway, if you get it after the first tick, it's fine. There's nothing much you have to worry about. So this is the first air phase. Trekking is on our DK, but he died. So now it's on our Druid, but he's also going to die, I believe. Yeah, right there, the breath caught up to him. So now it's going to be on our Priest, who actually lives. The priest that lived. As you can see, he's using body and soul on himself. Or maybe I put it on whoever. Anyway, he has movement increase. So he manages to kite it for the remainder of the phase. We hit the gong early. Somebody still died. So it didn't really do very much, did it? As you can see, the flame patches actually remain into the ground phase. Don't stand in them. I actually run through one somewhere in this video, and it gives my soundbar a huge boost. So yeah, don't do that. It's bad. Flame's bad, but shiny, but bad. Another breath coming here. Again, kiting to the right, everybody else moving to the left. You have about 2 seconds to adjust your position, because once he targets you, he'll cast the breath for about 2 seconds, so you have that time to adjust your position. We usually had it be on a range, probably because the discs are usually on the range, so they stack up sound more easily, but that's a good thing. It's a little more confusing when it's on melee. It shouldn't be too tough for them to get away, but it's a little confusing. Now this is the second ground phase. Searing Flames is probably about to happen somewhat soonish. I think another breath comes before it though, and discs. So again, there are 2 discs. I'm being completely retarded here, but at least I don't get hit. Running around would have been faster in that case. But whatever, that was a modulation. More discs that I stand in. I'm so good at this. At least they don't add much sound. And the air phase is happening. As you can see, everybody keeps moving. Person is kiting the flame breath. Nobody stands in the little discs that are just kind of like glowing. The fire that randomly goes down is sometimes hard to avoid, but I mean, you shouldn't stand in it for more than a second, even if you do get hit by it. Now this is our third ground phase. We have quite a few people dead here. That breath scared me because it looked like he was running into the wrong direction, but then he kind of caught himself and ran into the right one, so that worked out. Anyway, the faces just keep repeating. So as long as you don't run out of gongs, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Avoid the disc, kite the breath right, tank, DPS, heal, hit the gong when Searing Flame happens. And that's pretty much the ground phase. Air phase, again, kite the breath right, hit the gong, avoid the discs. Yeah, gee, kind of similar, isn't it? So yeah, you just do the same thing in each phase. Very straightforward, very repetitive. Once you figure out the sequence, you should be fine. This is not a tough encounter. If your DPS isn't atrocious, you should not run out of gongs. So yeah. Oh, and watch your soundbar, because I'm actually going to die here somewhat soon, because I do silly things in this video, like standing in fire. This is Atramedes though, and ground phase starts over. As you can see, I just ran through a fire, so my soundbar spiked. Next mutilation is going to kill me, I believe. Nope, close, so I must be doing something else really dumb that actually kills me. Like stand in a disc. No, wasn't the disc. Maybe I run back into the fire. Nope. Nope, still alive. Strange. I know for a fact I'm going to die. I just don't know why. Ah, see, it was another modulation. There we go. So, yeah, it was my bad luck that Searing Flames didn't happen earlier then, because then we would actually reset the soundbar. But the dragon's almost dead. It's at 8%? Something like that. And Searing Flames just happened. Bad luck. Few people die here, because rate damage spiked. I think the Searing Flame got interrupted a little late, and then we had a few modulations. Quite potentially somebody's soundbar spiked too, and they just died from that. Now I'm trying to up the graphics again here so you can see it a little more clearly, since it doesn't impact my performance anymore, does it now? Yeah, that's about all the tips I have. So, straightforward encounter. Have fun, good luck. And that's it.